Welcome to the Brad and Taylor Show. Today we have Bryan Reilly.
You're listening to The Brad and Taylor Show, a podcast that inspires entrepreneurs to pursue their passions. We're sitting down with some of the best to learn how they got started and some lessons they learned along the way.
Hi, how's it going?
Going good. How are you guys?
We're doing good today.
We're doing good. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the Brad and Taylor Show. I'm excited. My name's Bryan Reilly. I am a real estate team leader here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My office that you can see behind me is located in the North Hills. We do business all over Pittsburgh, north, south, east, and west. But the North is home for us here. I am, like I said, the team leader, also licensed agent, listing agent for the Riley Smith team here with Remax Select.
Awesome. Hey, that's awesome. So when you were younger, did you, is this what you had planned when you grew up, or what did you have planned?
Not this.
Not this.
Yeah, not this. I don't know. I don't think I knew what being a real estate agent really was or what it really meant until about a month after I got my real estate license.
Nice.
But yeah, we talked about that question. What did you want to be when you grow up? I guess it probably depends on, at what point you would have asked me or at what point you would have, told me that I've grown up. I was always into like multimedia, audio stuff, music stuff. So I would think probably something having to do with marketing or multimedia or music recording or audio video in some kind of way.
That's awesome.
Nice. I know you mentioned you have a team. How many people are on your team right now?
So there are 5 of us on the team. So there's myself, my partner, Sandy, my wife, Lisa, Jeremy, who is our buyer's agent, and Amanda is our marketing specialist. She's also a licensed agent. So she's one of our buyer's agents or showing agents, as we call them. And Deneen is our administrative coordinator.
Nice. And when you first started out, did you start on a team or were you solo?
I was solo when I started out. If I knew then what I know now, I probably would have joined a team or looked into it a little bit harder probably than what I did.
Yeah. How long were you solo before you did join a team?
Well, so I started the team. So I got my license in 2016 and I started the team in mid-June, June, July of 2019. So we're going on, I guess, 2 full years
Nice.
as a team here. Prior to that point, I was always a solo agent.
That's awesome. Congratulations with that. Do you guys have any plans to grow your team more? Or are you kind of good where you're at right now?
We definitely have plans to grow our team more. We have big goals. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Big goals. We picture 100 agents, 200 agents, whatever it might look like on our team. Right now, we're at that point where what we're doing works so well, and we're like the super team, or the like Tom Ferry calls it, the Navy SEALs, right? Like everybody on the team's got their job, and everybody fits, their role fits with their strengths, and everybody's so strong that it's kind of tough to not to say that we're perfect. Of course, we still learn every single day, but as a team, everything feels like so perfect. Everybody's so well matched. That it's taking that next step is probably taking longer than it probably should have or could have. But we have big plans to grow, and that's something that we're always thinking about here.
That's awesome. So when you decided to add on a team member, how did you, what made you get to the point where you're like, I need to add somebody on? How did that go?
You mean like with the first team member?
Yeah. Like, how did you decide you needed somebody added on? Was it like, I'm way too busy, or was it like, oh, it's time to build?
It was time to build, I think, more than anything. I'm very big on like coaching and reading and I don't want to say researching, but I like to look into things. I like to see what other people are doing. I like to see specifically people who are doing, successfully, whose businesses are going in a direction that I would want mine to go. and all of those people pretty much have teams, right? When I was starting out, I also saw a lot of other, agents who were only doing a little bit more than me, and they had these teams, and it was like, what are they really doing, right? So, a book that I kind of modeled my team after at the beginning, when it was just me, before it was my partner and I, Millionaire Real Estate Agent
Oh yeah.
by Gary Keller. uh, he talks about the team. He talks about start with your administrative staff, make sure you have the administrative staff. Otherwise you will be the administrative staff for yourself and for the team. So I knew I needed to do that. I started off with a virtual assistant. And then once I had that, within like a week or two, I was like, well, I've got this.
Yeah.
So I guess now, let's look for agents. So, and I interviewed a few agents, reached out to quite a few agents, talked with some people, and Jeremy was the perfect fit. He was the first one that kind of saw the vision and came on with me, and he's been killing it, and we've been kind of killing it ever since. It gets to the point where we get busy and realize we definitely need to bring on even more agents. He does so many showings that we need other agents to help him with showings and so on. So
that's awesome.
So that's kind of how it's gotten to this point. Like I said, by design though, we're always thinking about growth, and we're always thinking about building and continuing, with this great foundation that we have.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you talked about a virtual assistant. Did you, what made you decide to do it virtually versus like in person, right next to you? Because we got a virtual assistant now, and I think it's like the best thing ever.
Yeah. So there was a couple of things that made me look into it. One of them, being just, it was economical.
Yep.
Like I said, looking at other successful teams and maybe not so successful teams, and seeing like, what are they doing that from the outside looking in, or looking at the numbers and looking at it from, a business building perspective,
Yes.
What makes sense and what doesn't. My business was at a level at the time, I think, I was probably aiming with a goal of like 40 or 50 transactions a year. It was mid-year. I was halfway there. I was at 25 transactions, and I was like, this, I definitely should have somebody, but I'm not, economically,
for sure.
What makes most sense. Right. So looking at it as a business perspective, but then also knowing, like I said, before we started recording, I've got the office behind me here. Most agents nowadays aren't even working in the office.
Yep.
So why should I worry about where that person is when they could be in the office, and I still might not even see them because I might not be there. I'll be out on the road meeting with clients, or whatever else we're doing. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. When you first got your virtual assistant, I know this is talked about a lot with multiple different people. Was it hard for you to pass that torch over and be like, okay, this is your responsibility now. I'm going to step back and I'm going to let you handle this so I can get more done? Was that hard for you? I know it is for a lot of different people.
So it's hard to do. It's hard to execute. It wasn't necessarily hard. Like, it wasn't a mindset shift necessarily. It was probably a series of like little mindset shifts just to execute it, like I said. But I mean, that's the other thing. There's no point in hiring somebody and then not giving them something to do. So, prior to being in real estate, I was a project manager for a mechanical contractor. So, we saw a lot of, we looked at a lot of manpower, labor, issues and planning and project planning and things like that. So obviously, you can't do everything yourself.
Yep.
Delegation is important, but it's definitely tough to actually do.
Yeah, for sure. What other jobs did you have before just going straight into real estate? Did you that kind of helped you along the way?
Good question. So like I said, I was a mechanical contractor or I was a project manager for a mechanical contracting company. I was actually a union sheet metal worker prior to that. Same company, same line of work, same industry. So I started off working in a shop, sweeping floors, and then I started welding, and then I just kind of went through the ranks there. I was a shop foreman, and then I was into estimating and project managing, and more of a office type role with that company. So
did you When you switched like to doing real estate, like did you jump into it full time or like straight away, or did you like slowly transition over to how'd that process go for you?
So I got to a point in that other business where, like I said, I was kind of rising through the ranks. But obviously, like I said, when I was younger, not only was real estate not something that I saw myself doing, but that certainly wasn't either. So always was looking into other things and other businesses. And I actually was involved with the network marketing company prior to real estate. And that's one of the things that pushed me the most to get into sales, marketing, actually talking to people, helping people, personal growth. Like I said, all the reading, the coaching, the personal development stuff. Did that for a few years and then realized, there's another business out there where I could kind of merge these skills that I have, and go in every day to an office or to a location, treat it like a business, treat it like a job, work harder for myself than I did for this other employer for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
Turn it into something. So I was still working. And when I took my real estate classes, I actually went and signed up and drove Uber for like a couple of weeks to pay for my real estate classes.
Nice.
While doing a network marketing business, while doing project management. Like I was doing 10 things at once. But I knew that it was temporary, and real estate was something that I wanted to throw it all into. So
yep.
I did both for like a year and a half, and then got the business to the point where it was beyond the point where it made sense for me to not be doing both things at once anymore, and shifted into doing real estate full time.
When
That's
you
awesome.
first transitioned over into real estate full time, was there any advice that you got that you could now turn around and give to anybody adding to your team or new to your team?
I got a lot of advice. Like I said, I kind of sought advice. I was fortunate when I was getting into the business to, I talked to a couple different brokerages, and I had some gentlemen from another brokerage nearby, not the one that I'm currently at, but they brought me in, and I said, I don't know anything about real estate. Like I said, I really didn't have any idea. I just knew that it involved sales. I knew that it involved dealing with people and helping people. And then obviously, houses. They gave me a lot of advice. They talked me through a lot of things, helped me get my license. But, they said, we have sales meetings every Wednesday. Even though you don't have your license yet, you can come in here every Wednesday evening and do these sales trainings. So before I even had my license, I was doing, sales trainings and going through the systems, and okay, listings are leverage. So that was a completely different, again, I didn't know anything about real estate. I had bought a house before, and I just thought real estate is, basically selling houses, but it's not about selling houses. If you want to do it on a high level, you have to find people that actually want to sell their houses and help them. So that was, that's so obvious to me now. That I don't, when I'm talking to new agents, I just assume that they've also heard that and that they already know that. But I don't know. I guess a lot of people, a lot of agents probably aren't hearing that. There's a lot of agents that work with buyers. So, as far as practical advice, that was one of the biggest things that helped get my business to where it is now is, listings are leverage. Find out what you have to do to get the listings. Find out what you have to do. If the people have a house and they want to sell it, what can you do to help them, right? Or they want to make a move. What can you do to help them? Maybe selling's not even, maybe they can rent it out and move later. Maybe that's an option. But whatever it may be, find out where the problem is and how can you help them. If you have buyers, their problem is they need a house. So go find a house with a seller or with an owner who wants to move, and then help them figure out where they're going to move to, so that you can then take your buyer and help them. It's a cyclical business here.
For sure, yeah. When you first started out in real estate also, can you take us to your first transaction? How did that go? I know you had the sales training, so maybe it went smooth for you, maybe it didn't. How did that go, that first one?
That's another really good question. So not only do real estate licensing classes not actually teach you much about what you're going to do when you get into the business, but most sales trainings don't actually teach you about what's going to happen once you actually, get that client to say yes. Essentially, when you find that person who wants to sell a house and you find that buyer who wants to buy it, what do you do from there? I was fortunate. I did have, the same mentors who helped me kind of get into the business, actually helped me once I was in the business, which was great. They weren't just, recruiting me and signing me up. They actually helped me. I was fortunate, I got my license. Like I said, I was doing a lot of different things at once. I was taking classes on my lunch breaks at my other job, leaving there and then going out and basically showing houses in the evenings and doing that kind of thing. The first day that I got my license, when it actually came in the mail or I got the email, whatever it was, and it said, "You're a licensed agent," I had a list of phone numbers ready for people in a neighborhood that I knew, I could probably do business in. And I just started calling people on that list and seeing who wanted to move. I did that for like a month. I was telling people what I was doing. Eventually, a friend of a friend, came to me and said, "Well, we've been thinking about moving." It was the beginning of the year. It was basically New Year's Day, I think. We took them out to see some houses, put in some offers. I was doing an open house for another agent on another house that had been sitting on the market forever. It was the middle of winter. It was a foot of snow outside. It was the middle of a Steelers Baltimore Ravens, wild card playoff game. So everybody in Pittsburgh was glued to that. So nobody was going to come to the open house. One couple came into the open house, ended up putting in an offer, used me as their agent. They weren't even in the market for a house prior to that. They saw my open house sign, stopped by, fell in love with the house, put in an offer that got accepted. So I actually sold 2 houses in one weekend, like a month after I got my license. And that was kind of when I knew that the business that I was in the right place, that I was doing some of the right things, and that, maybe I could continue to grow and continue to learn while, actually having some level of success along the way.
Yeah, that's awesome. So did your next couple transactions after that go as easy? Like it would go as fast and getting them both in the same weekend? I bet you did it slow down, or did it like at least for like the next month, or did you keep getting consistently going from there? Because that's kind of like right at the beginning, you're like 2 in a weekend. Yeah, I got this.
I got this. Yeah. No. So I was working the other job. So I almost, intentionally was like, I'm not going to sell any more houses because I need to worry about getting these closed. So the sales part, I think I sold 12 houses my first year, and I was part-time, which is, pretty good. It's not like nobody's ever done it, but it's pretty good for a part-time agent. The sales part kind of came easily. I was also fortunate enough my first year that every single one of those sales was an absolute struggle to get closed, whether it be from, broken sewer lines or other home inspection issues or lenders dropping the ball or title companies dropping the ball or, sellers going crazy and changing their minds, whatever the case may be. Like every single transaction that I did, all 12 of those, plus I think there was more. I think I had like 3 falters in my first year, which probably is a crazy number. Every one of those experiences was a learning experience for me. And I, took so much away from that I talk to agents now who've been in the business 7 years, and they're asking questions. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did that my first month. Yeah. We had a $30,000 sewer issue that we managed to, negotiate. So, blessed to have all that stress and all those headaches, right at the beginning, and to have some good mentors that kind of help coach me through it. So now I know what to do. There's always something new that you haven't seen yet, and something crazy that happens that just kind of blows your mind. But I feel like I've got a pretty good base of crazy experiences just from that first year alone.
Yeah. So over the last 2 years, what is the worst property you've been to? I know the first year kind of crazy situations, but what is the worst property you've been to?
So that's another really good question. So I don't know if I can even answer that with just one. So we're in Pittsburgh here. It's a beautiful area. There's a lot of hills. There's a lot of old homes. Homes range here from 150 years old to brand new, obviously. There's a lot of hills. There's a lot of rivers. There's a lot of water. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes you could be in an otherwise nice home, and then you go down in the basement, and it could be a mess. So we've seen some pretty gnarly ones. Of course, some of these foreclosed properties that sit vacant for a while can be pretty ugly and pretty gnarly. We've seen some we've seen some stuff there too.
I
Also,
like it. I like it. So let's say you had to start all over today, and you only had $1,000. How would you spend that first $1,000?
I don't know how I'd even spend the first $1,000, but I know what I would do. I would basically do the same thing I did when I started the first time with less than $1,000.
I like it.
Get on the phone, find a list. So you might have to spend money on that. I asked around, and basically my broker provided it to me. A list of phone numbers and contacts in a neighborhood, or it could be for sale by owners, it could be expired listings, and I would just start calling people and just asking them, crazy question: are you interested in selling your house? I'm calling you completely out of the blue, but have you thought about moving? A lot of people have. I would do that, and I would be doing open houses for other agents or whatever I could there. Certainly doing open houses on my own listings, and yeah, that's if I had to spend money on open house signs or whatever I had to spend money on along the way, but that's what I'd be doing.
Awesome. I like it. How can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so our website, myhomereality.com. I don't know how many people actually go and look to communicate with real estate agents on their website, but we do a lot of content. We post a lot on Instagram and Facebook. All of our social media accounts. If you go on the website, scroll down to the bottom, you can get connected with us there.
Awesome.
Again, it's myhomereality.com.
Sweet. That's awesome. Hey, thanks for coming on and sharing your story with us today.
Yeah, Brad and Taylor, thank you. It was fun.
Are these working?
All right.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go. I think they're working. Should we tell them?
Mine keeps falling. It doesn't like my voice.
What do we got to tell them?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. What do we got to point at it? Hey, I think there's a subscription button. Like
It might be there.
might be right there too.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
Find it. It's red.
Yeah. And it's
Red.
blue. It's green. I don't really know.
It's a color.
This mic isn't even attached. Did you plug these in? Well, I guess.
I wonder if they can hear us.
Yeah. I wonder if they hear us. Well, we should probably tell them if they can hear us. We should probably tell them to also give us a 5-star review if they're listening on Apple. That'd be cool.
5 stars, guys.
Share it with everybody they can think of.
We won't take 4 stars.
I mean, Taylor, I don't even think these are on. I mean,
No, I don't think this is working.
This is not working.
Yeah.